When you see somebody who is throwing a bag of rice out of a helicopter or responding to an emergency in a very dramatic way, it means that a number of failures have happened of governance and of planning and of listening to warnings and of thinking ahead. Flood risk in particular is challenging. What is almost certain is that the frequency is becoming more difficult to anticipate and the timing is becoming more difficult to anticipate. Droughts are even more complicated because there are many different kinds of droughts. The drivers of droughts can be climatological, they can be market focused, they can be political. The ways that you anticipate drought are not probabilistic in the same way that other hazards are. But I think from a family perspective or a community perspective, one of the biggest challenges is the knock-on effects. Damage to crops or damage to property, which then has results for the livelihood of the family in question. Then they have to sell their cow because they can't afford to this. In some countries, they use schools or hospitals as displacement centers, which means that then education can't happen for that period of time. So these knock-on effects actually have much more cost to the communities than we have ever properly calculated.
Our focus is always on the human. We have to feel their emotions in the time of a disaster, how they would feel, what's their anxieties, and we ended up with a mobile app solution that would guide them through such a disaster on finding the right shelters, the right information they would need in real time.
That after the disaster can get the aftercare and the help they needed. And at the same time, all this personal information we can provide back to the planners and to the first responders. The challenge is to get all these data sources and a whole bunch of AI and Watson tools that we identified and get them together into this platform.